Okay, why is he on his roof?
So he was so because he's checking the lightning rods.
Well, so that's the main idea of that. Okay. Um, so now let's look at the next paragraph here. All right, so whenever
Mhm.
you're ready, if you want to read that for us, please.
Uncle Wilbur has always been a smart man. We all listen as he dismissed the automobile as a passing fancy. Every year, it seemed more and more Model Ts came rolling into town. But Uncle Wilbur insisted that nothing could replace the reliability of a good old-fashioned mule when it came to transportation, work, or even entertainment. Yes, Uncle Wilbur's Mule Olympics complete with obstacle courses and a log jump was known, was known far and wide. Sadly, the Mule Olympics did not survive into the next decade because the mules got too old and lost interest.
Okay, what is this paragraph about?
It's about that he was becoming it's because what he did was he was becoming very smart,
It doesn't say that he's becoming smart. What does it say?
but he's always been a smart man.
Okay, so give me an example of how he has always been a smart man from either the first or the second paragraph. Something in
Okay.
here, there's many examples. So what is it in here? You can read it again if you need to. Tells you that he is a smart man.
Okay. Um, I think for him, for what he was thinking, that when he was a smart, he was a smart man. He advised, he was knowing that, uh, I think he was knowing that, more and more Model Ts came rolling to town.
How does that demonstrate his intelligence?
Like, he would say that it would replace the reliability for the good old fashioned meal when it came to transportation, work, or even entertainment. For example, the Model Ts.
I don't think you really believe what you're saying. So let's just talk more generally. How does someone, how do you, how do you know if someone is intelligent? What's one way you can know that it's someone is intelligent or smart? So I'm gonna put that in the chat just that it's clear.
Okay. I remember he insisted that I know that he was a smart man because he insisted that nothing could replace the reliability of a good old fashioned meal when it came to transportation, work, or even entertainment.
Sarah, do you remember the other night, like last night, when I said we're having issues? You're having trouble following
No, it's
instructions.
the reliability. He describes to replace the reliability.
Why do you think I put that in the chat?
It's because I know that he was a smart man because he could replace the reliability of a good old fashioned meal.
All right. Do you want help tonight, Sarish, or not?
I want help.
It sure doesn't seem like it. But
Well, I know the answer. It's really replace the real. He insisted. Uncle Wilbur insisted.
yeah, we're gonna have you keep reading here. Um, yeah, the answer is always yes. You want my help. That's always the answer, even if you don't feel like it. That is the right answer. So
I'm
let's.
knowing that Uncle Wilbur's a smart man because he insisted that nothing could replace.
Okay, so we're gonna try this one more time. Go ahead and read this paragraph, please.
Okay. Nonetheless, my uncle Wilbur continues to predict future trends and warn us of impending tragedy. To this day, he reminds us that he foresaw the stock market crash of 1929, and that's why he kept his money wrapped in a handkerchief under his mattress. When the government started collecting income taxes a few years back, Uncle Wilbur reluctantly shared his wealth with Uncle Sam, saying that the money was just a temporary loan.
Okay. Uh, what is this paragraph about?
It's about Wilbur is just um predicting the future to warn us about the tragedy happened last time, like for example the stock market.
All right, good. So you actually answered my second question, which is great. He's able to predict future trends. I was going to ask you what's a future trend that he predicted, and you correctly answered the stock market. That's fantastic.
Hmm.
All right, good job.
Thank you.
All right. So let's keep going here. There's more to read. Um, we're almost through this reading, and then we'll get to some questions. All right, so go ahead and read that.
Hmm. Uncle Wilbur did not take kindly to the power company man who came knocking one day in 1936. This was the year the government launched a campaign to bring electricity to rural areas like ours. Most people, like Uncle Arthur, were a little wary of having electricity in their homes. Many of us had running water, and we just weren't sure that the two mixed. Nevertheless, Uncle Wilbur was downright floored when the man said he wanted to string power lines up to the house. Nearly losing his temper, Uncle Wilbur exclaimed, "Here I am doing everything in my door power to keep from getting struck by lightning, and you want to bring it right to my doorstep." He sent the man on his way with a "no thank you" and "a good day, sir." But in the months that followed, we all eventually relented and let us light. I must admit, playing checkers in the dark, it's a talent you can easily lose without daily practice.
Okay, so uh, Uncle Wilbur didn't like the man coming to his door in 1936. Why didn't he like this man?
It's because the man it's because the man just wanted to just be able to be doing the work instead before Uncle Wilbur, like doing stringing up power lines, I would say. I don't know.
Okay. Read this third line here where it says most
Most people, like
people.
Uncle Wilbur, were a little wary of having electricity in their homes.
What does that mean? If you're wary of having electricity in your home, do you want it in your home or do you not want it in your home?
Where taking we're having we're a waste of time. And
No,
yes, you cannot have
wary means you're scared or you're frightened of having
Yeah, they're
electricity.
scared and frightened that their power might run out.
Okay, so what is the first paragraph about again? What's
First
the
paragraph.
first, yeah, what's the first paragraph about again? What's the first sentence say?
The first sentence, my uncle Wilbur used to spend hours every day checking on the lightning rods that stood guard on the roof of his house.
Do you know what lightning rods are used for?
Yeah, they're used for preventing lightning from hitting wooden areas, just only hitting it on the top. It's like wherever lightning comes, it'll be able to struck on the lightning rod without making the roof get burned.
Okay, and what is the connection between lightning rods and electricity?
What is the connection?
Yeah,
Well, the connection is that they are both electrified because both of them.
exactly.
Yeah.
Very good.
Oh, yeah, electrified.
Very good. Okay, last paragraph. Last paragraph. And then we're gonna answer some questions. All right, so go ahead and read this for us, please, whenever you're ready.
Many things have changed since those times. Uncle Wilbur still lives in mortal fear of a lightning strike, but because he didn't doesn't get out much anymore, most of his lightning rods have rusted through and fallen to the ground. Uncle Wilbur lives mostly on Social Security, which he proudly proclaims as his victory. See, he says the government did eventually give his money back. He probably spends more time recompensating, remeditating about the past than he does making future predictions. But Uncle Wilbur will be the first to tell you that television will never be as popular as radio, and the idea of a human traveling into outer space is just plain crazy.
All right, very good. So there's one word in there that I want to have you look up the definition of reminiscing.
Yeah, I don't even know what that is.
All right, go ahead and look that up, please.
Hmm. Indulge in enjoyable recollection of past events.
So it's when you're thinking about the past.
Mhm.
When was the last time you were reminiscing, Sarah, you're thinking about the past?
Um,
Let's try a question here. So, can you read this question out loud for us, please?
yeah. How would Uncle Wilbur feel about the cellular phones?
Okay. And if you need to, you can reread this last paragraph. But how do you think he feels about cellular phones?
Okay. Well, he thinks that cellular phones were wasting power.
Where does it say that?
Um, I don't think it's there.
Well, it's not. So let's ask a more general question. How does Uncle Wilbur feel about technology?
How does Uncle Wilbur feel about technology?
Yes. Cellular phones are technology.
Okay. He felt about technology that he felt that technology was, for example, like um um I don't know.
We'll read this last paragraph one more time.
Many things have changed since those times. Uncle Wilbur still lives in mortal fear of a lightning strike, but because he doesn't get out much anymore, most of his lightning rods have rusted through and fallen to the ground. Uncle Wilbur lives mostly on Social Security, which he proudly proclaims as his victory. Um, he probably spends more time reminiscing about the past than he does making future predictions. But Uncle Wilbur will be the first to tell you that the television will never be as popular as radio, and the idea of a human traveling into outer space is just plain crazy.
Okay, so how does he feel about technology? Is he in favor of it or not in favor of it?
In favor of it?
Okay, so tell me what you read that says that shows that he's in favor of technology.
It doesn't say favorable, so it's not favorable because he said that television will never be as popular as radio.
So is he in favor of it or not?
Unfavorable, non-unfavorable. It's not unfavorable
Okay, so what in there says that he's not in favorable of it?
because it's not favorable because Wilbur will be the first to tell you that he said that Wilbur to be able to first be tell you that television will never be as popular as radio, and the idea of human
Right.
traveling jobs, yeah, human traveling into outer space is just plain crazy.
Okay. So does he like technology? No. So how would he feel about cellular phones? So let's try to answer this question. How would he feel about cellular phones? Would he fear them? Would he distrust them? Would he welcome them? Or would he be indifferent?
Okay, let me think. Distrustful.
I agree.
Mm-hmm. Okay, can we take a short break?
We're almost out of time. I mean, we got another 6 minutes. So let's just take a minute or two here, Cyrus, and then we'll reset.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
All right, Cyrus. So I'm going to put another question in the document here.
Okay.
So this is not Uncle Wilbur now. It says compared to Uncle Wilbur, how does the narrator, so the narrator is the person who wrote this, how do they feel about modern advancements? Are they in favor of technology, the person who wrote this, or not?
I think for Uncle for the narrator, I think for the narrator it feels exhilarated, I would say.
Exhilarated is like you get a rush of energy. Usually you feel exhilarated when you work out or exercise or climb on a roof.
Okay.
It's not exhilarated. Exhilarated would be like driving a really fast car.
So I would say
It's either A or B.
resisting.
Yeah, definitely resisting. Now that's Uncle Wilbur is resisting. How about the narrator,
Narrator.
person writing it?
So
Like Wilbur is resisting change, that's for sure.
the
But the
narrator.
narrator, they're just telling a story.
So the narrator is like accepting to read a story.
Possibly. You know, it's a little unclear. I don't think it's a great question. Um, it could also be uncertain because there's no point made, but these are just some of the things to think about here. Let's really quickly, I think you'll be able to answer this question in less than a minute. Um, I don't even know why this is on here, but what it is. All right, here we go. What is the prefix for the word for saw? Prefix. Do you remember where the prefix is in a word?
The prefix. The prefix for the word in the word foresaw. The prefix is the beginning of the word.
Okay, so what's the beginning of the word? Is it A, B, C, or D?
A.
You are correct. All right. We'll go ahead and stop here for tonight. Good job.
Okay.